What's going on, guys? This shouldn't be a very long video. I just wanted to get on here and talk about what I've noticed about 20th century horror movies compared to 21st century horror movies. More specifically, the slasher films like Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and Halloween. Um, have you ever noticed how back in the 80s and 70s, uh, what they call the final girl, which is obviously the girl that survives and lives and defeats the monster or slasher or whatever, they looked quote unquote normal. They looked kind of more realistic to what you would see if you were actually in high school. Because most of these girls, they're supposed to be in high school. If you think about like the final girl of Halloween, Friday 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street, the more specifically, my favorite final girl is Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street. One of those reasons is that she's kind of tough. I'll show you a scene here where she talks to Glenn, and she gets mad at him because he didn't wake her up from her nightmare like he was supposed to.
Glenn, you bastard.
What'd I do?
Which always stuck out to me. It gives the character personality. And what you see today is kind of, I don't know, you just kind of see like these women that look like they should be in magazines, running around screaming with their big boobs bouncing around. And I'm not against that, trust me, but when it comes to the final girl, or really all the girls, I'll show you some pictures here. They all seem, and I'm not saying that they're unattractive at all. Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street, she just looks like that girl that that would be in your science class that you would have a crush on and want to ask out. And I think that goes a long way in making the movie scarier. It grounds the movie, and it actually makes it look like these are actual high school kids, even though they were probably in their 20s, but they looked like they could be in high school. And so that makes it more grounded, more realistic, which makes the fact that they're being killed, it makes it even scarier for the audience. Nowadays, with movies like Freddy vs. Jason, I guess these are like 20-year-old movies now, but we're talking post 2000 and pre 2000. Look at the girl from, or the final girl from Freddy vs. Jason. There's also the girl who played Tina in the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. These two girls are great examples of women who just don't at all look like they're in high school, and they're far too attractive that it reminds you that you're watching a movie. It doesn't ground it at all. And again, I'm not trying to say that the girls previously mentioned in the 80s weren't attractive. They were, but they just felt more realistic. You know, there's many reasons why 21st century films or horror movies just aren't as good. You know, you could talk about the CGI as well. There's many reasons. A movie like the original Nightmare on Elm Street, it had so much fun with the effects and everything. One quick example is that in the remake, when Freddy comes through the wall, it's all CGI and it just looks fake. In the original, they did that with practical effects. I don't know what material they used, but they actually had somebody coming through that wall with that material that they had behind the character Nancy. There's many reasons that you can point to as to why the 21st century movies aren't as good as the 80s. And I just wanted to give my thoughts on that particular one. I know I'm not the first one to notice it, but I think it goes a much further way than a lot of people think. When you're caring or trying to care for these characters, you want to feel like these are actual high school kids. And with these 21st century slasher films, they just don't look like it. And I think it harms the film a lot. Another one that comes to mind is, I think I might have mentioned Halloween. I'll put a picture here of the girls in Halloween. You obviously have the lead, Jamie Lee Curtis, as Laurie Strode. And even her friends, they just look like normal girls. Now you could say the one brunette looks too old to be in high school. That's fair. But at least she doesn't look like she should be in a magazine. And I hope it don't sound like I'm insulting these women. That's not my point here. It's just that they're supposed to look realistic. Maybe realistic is the wrong word, but realistic to what a high school girl would look like. All high school girls don't look like they're supposed to be models in a magazine. Here's another picture from the Friday the 13th remake, where these are all the girls in the movie, and they all look like they belong in magazines. It just isn't realistic. One of the best qualities of a final girl is that she's tough, and she isn't just running around screaming and panicking. Like, you look at Sigourney Weaver in Alien, or if you look at Linda Hamilton in The Terminator as Sarah Connor. You know, obviously at first she's scared to death, but she learns her strength, and by the end of the movie, she's a traditional final girl. I do consider The Terminator to be a horror movie, and she's your typical final girl, a good one at that. And that's how Nancy is in A Nightmare on Elm Street. But anyway, guys, that's my video. I just wanted to make a quick video on something that I noticed recently. I've actually noticed it for a while, but I just wanted to, it occurred to me the other day, and I just wanted to make a video on it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Was there anything I missed in terms of other horror movies that have this kind of effect, and other horror movies that need this? Let me know if I'm right or wrong. Hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy.